The day my stepmother threw me out, how I returned from Lagos as a millionaire. Stay with me until the end, my people, because what happened when I came back to that same compound will leave you speechless. The day my father died, I lost everything twice. I was 17 when the sickness finally took him. We'd spent his last 6 months watching him waste away in that teaching hospital in Benin City, me holding his hand while he drifted between this world and the next, sometimes calling me by my late mother's name, Ngozi, his first wife, who had died bringing me into this world. "Take care of yourself, Chinedu," he whispered during one of his final moments of clarity. "You are stronger than you know. Your chi is powerful." I didn't feel powerful. I felt like a small boy about to face the world alone. What I didn't expect was how quickly that world would show me its true face. My stepmother, Auntie Blessing, though there was nothing blessed about her, had married my father 4 years earlier. She was a Lagos babe, always wearing the latest Ankara styles, her gele tied so high it nearly touched the ceiling fan. My father used to say she brought joy back into his life after years of mourning. I wanted to believe it. I tried to call her Mama, but her true nature revealed itself exactly 3 days after we buried my father. I came back from school to find all my belongings. My school uniform, my books, my father's old radio that I cherished, packed in old Ghana must-go bags and dumped outside our compound gate. The padlock had been changed. Auntie Blessing stood in the doorway, arms folded across her chest like a soldier guarding a fortress. "This is my house now," she announced, loud enough for the neighbors to hear. "Your father left everything to me. I have consulted with my lawyer, and you have no legal right to anything here." "But Auntie, this is my home," I stammered in shock. "Where am I supposed to go?" She hissed long and loud, the kind of hiss that cuts deeper than any knife. "Please, you are nearly 18. You are a man now. Go and find your way. I am not your mother, and I'm not responsible for you." "But Papa, your papa is dead." She snapped her fingers in my face, a gesture of dismissal that felt like a slap. "If he wanted to take care of you, he should have planned better before he died. Me, I have my own life to live. I cannot be carrying another person's child on my head." She slammed the gate. I stood there under the hot afternoon sun, staring at those Ghana must-go bags, at the compound where I'd grown up, the mango tree my father planted when I was born, the veranda where we'd sit every evening listening to radio programs, the zinc roof that sang when rain fell. All of it now belonged to someone else. I called my father's younger brother, Uncle Emeka, but his wife answered, "Chinedu, we cannot take you in. We have 5 children in a 2-bedroom flat. I'm sorry." She didn't sound sorry. She sounded relieved when I said I understood. My father's friends from the Mechanics Association gave similar responses. "Things are hard. We don't have space. You'll understand." That night, I slept under the bridge near Uselu Market, my Ghana must-go bags serving as my pillow. I was too afraid to close my eyes completely, jerking awake at every sound. Area boys arguing, downfall buses revving, mentally unstable people talking to themselves. This wasn't how it was supposed to be. In Nollywood films, the orphan always finds help. Someone always appears with a solution. But real life isn't a film. Real life is cold concrete and mosquitoes, wondering if you'll see tomorrow. The next few months were brutal. I finished secondary school by God's grace, sleeping in different friends' houses, never staying long enough to become a burden. I worked night shifts at a small restaurant in Ogbowo, washing plates and sweeping floors. The woman who owns the place, Mama Ngozi, knew I was homeless, but she looked the other way. Sometimes she would accidentally cook extra jollof rice and leave it for me.
My school principal, Mr. Okonkwo, helped me apply for JAMB and university scholarships. Chinedu, your grades are excellent, he said, reviewing my WAEC results. But you need something special to stand out. Something that shows resilience and determination. I nearly laughed. If surviving homelessness wasn't resilience, what was? But he was right. I needed more than just my sad story. I needed a plan. I'd always been good with computers. My father had bought me a fairly used laptop from Computer Village when I was in GSS 3, and I taught myself everything from YouTube videos in cyber cafes. While my classmates were watching Big Brother Nigeria, I was learning coding, web design, and graphic design. Maybe that was my way forward. I got admission to study computer science at University of Benin on a full scholarship. It wasn't University of Lagos or University of Ibadan, but it was an opportunity. I worked 3 jobs to survive. Campus cyber cafe attendant, weekend graphics designer for churches and small businesses, and Friday night shift attendant at a filling station. I slept 4 hours per night. I survived on gari and groundnut when money was scarce. I had 2 shirts and 1 pair of trousers that I washed every night. While other students were partying and living the undergraduate life, I was in the library from morning till midnight, learning everything about software development, app creation, and tech entrepreneurship. I was angry, deeply, furiously angry, but I channeled that anger into hunger for success. Every time I wanted to give up, every time exhaustion made my vision blur and my fingers tremble on the keyboard, I remembered Auntie Blessing slamming that gate in my face. Go and find your way, she'd said. Fine, I would find it. In my 3rd year, I built an app with 2 of my classmates, a mobile payment platform for market women and small traders who didn't have bank accounts. We called it TradeNaija. It was simple, it worked on basic phones, and it solved a real problem for people whom the big banks ignored. We launched it with 500,000 naira that we pulled together and a website I built in my hostel room. Within 6 months, we had 5,000 registered users. Within 1 year, a major tech company from Lagos acquired us for $8 million, approximately 3.2 billion naira. My share after taxes and splitting with my partners, 1.1 billion naira. I was 23 years old. I stared at my bank account balance for hours that day, convinced it was a mistake, that someone would call and say there had been an error, but the money remained. It was real. My first purchase wasn't a car or a house. It was a proper meal at an actual restaurant where I didn't need to check the prices. I sat alone at that table, ordered chicken and rice with extra meat, and cried openly while the couple beside me pretended not to notice. The second thing I did was hire a private investigator to find out what had happened to Auntie Blessing. She was still living in my father's house. Our house. The investigator's report revealed that she had sold most of my father's belongings, his tools, his old Mercedes that he maintained like a baby, even his books. She had remarried 1 year after my father's death, but the marriage collapsed after 2 years. Her second husband left her with significant debts. The house was about to be foreclosed. She had missed 4 months of mortgage payments. I sat with that information for weeks, debating what to do. Part of me wanted to let karma run its course, to let her lose everything the way she had stripped everything from me. But another part of me, the part that still remembered my father's kindness, his belief that people should rise above their worst moments, wanted something different. I wanted her to understand what she had done. I drove to the house on a Tuesday morning. Same street, same compound, same gate that had been slammed in my face 7 years earlier. But I was different. Designer Agbada, Lexus SUV, the confidence that comes from surviving the worst and building something remarkable from nothing. I pressed the bell. Auntie Blessing opened the gate, and for a moment she didn't recognize me. Then her eyes widened, moving from my face to the vehicle in the driveway,
to the Rolex watch on my wrist. Chinedu, her voice cracked. Is that really you? Good morning, Auntie Blessing. She looked older, worn down by years that I had spent climbing upward. Her former elegance had been replaced by something fragile, desperate. I heard you had done well, she said, attempting a smile. I always knew you were intelligent. Your father would be so proud. The mention of my father made my jaw tighten. Would he? She sensed the coldness in my tone, and her smile faltered. Chinedu, I know things ended badly between us. I was grieving, not thinking clearly. You threw me out with Ghana must go bags. I was overwhelmed. Your father's death, the financial pressure, everything. I was 17 years old. She looked down at her feet. I know, and I've thought about it over the years. I was wrong. I was cruel. If I could go back and change things, but you can't go back. That's not how time works. We stood in that doorway, 7 years of silence stretching between us like an unbridgeable chasm. Finally, I pulled an envelope from my agbada pocket. I know about the foreclosure. I know you are about to lose this house. Her face went pale. Chinedu, if you came here to mock me, I came to buy the house, I said calmly. Cash payment, above market value, transaction completed within 2 weeks. You walk away with enough money to pay your debts and start fresh somewhere else. She stared at me, confusion flooding her features. Why would you do that? Because this was my father's house. Because I have memories here that matter to me. And because I paused, choosing my words carefully. Because I'm not you, Auntie Blessing. I'm not the kind of person who kicks someone when they are already down. Tears began streaming down her cheeks. I'm so sorry, Chinedu. I'm so sorry. I know, I said simply. And I did. I could see it in her face. Genuine remorse, the kind that comes from years of living with your mistakes. But my forgiveness doesn't erase what happened. It doesn't change the fact that you taught me I couldn't depend on anyone except myself. I don't deserve this kindness. You don't? I agreed without hesitation. But my father taught me to be better than the worst things people do to us. So take the offer. Start over. Be a better person. She accepted. 2 weeks later, the house became mine legally. I renovated it carefully, restoring everything Auntie Blessing had removed or changed, bringing back the warmth my father had filled it with. His workshop became exactly as I remembered it. I even tracked down some of his tools from scrap markets and second-hand dealers. But I didn't move in. Instead, I transformed it into a transitional home for young people with nowhere else to go. A place where teenagers aging out of orphanages or those who had lost their families could stay while finding their footing in life. Free accommodation, free meals, mentorship programs, vocational training, university preparation support. I named it Chinedu's Place, but the sign at the gate reads, "Home is where you belong." My father's words, my mission. Last month, I attended the official opening ceremony. 15 young people moved in that day. 15 teenagers who reminded me of myself at 17, scared and alone, but not without hope.